You know that feeling? Someone says something, and for a second you just freeze. You can't tell if they're joking, if you're overreacting, or if you're the problem. Later that night, you're replaying the conversation in your head, trying to figure out what actually happened. And somehow, you're the one who ends up feeling guilty. That's not you being sensitive. That's not you overthinking. That might be manipulation. And most people never see it coming because it doesn't look like manipulation. It looks like a normal conversation. It looks like someone who loves you. It looks like someone who's just being honest. So in this video, I'm breaking down 7 real manipulation tactics, backed by actual psychology, that people use on you every single day. No vague self-help fluff, just the specific patterns researchers have documented, so you can finally put a name to that feeling in your gut. Let's get into it. Alright, number 1, gaslighting. You've probably heard the word thrown around, but here's what it actually looks like in real life. You bring up something that happened, something you clearly remember, and the other person looks you dead in the eye and says, "That never happened," or "You're remembering it wrong," or my personal favorite, "You're being dramatic." Not once, repeatedly, over weeks, months, sometimes years. And here's the part that makes it so effective. It's not really about that one memory. It's about slowly training you to stop trusting your own perception. Once you stop trusting yourself, you start needing them to tell you what's real. That's the actual goal. Number 2, love bombing. This one's sneaky because it doesn't feel bad at all. In fact, it feels amazing. Someone comes into your life and suddenly you're getting non-stop attention, compliments, gifts, texts good morning, texts good night. It feels like a movie, except real connection builds gradually. Manipulative love bombing is designed to move fast on purpose, so fast that your guard never has time to go up. Psychologists who study this pattern describe it as an idealization phase, where you're overwhelmed with affection specifically so you'll overlook red flags later. And when the honeymoon phase ends, which it always does, that same intensity can flip into criticism or control. If the beginning felt too perfect too fast, that's the sign, not the affection itself. Number 3, the silent treatment. Also called stonewalling. You did something they didn't like, or maybe you don't even know what you did, and suddenly they just stop talking. No explanation, no fight, just silence. Here's why this works so well. Silence creates anxiety. Your brain hates uncertainty more than it hates conflict. So instead of addressing the actual issue, you find yourself apologizing just to make the silence stop, even when you're not sure what you're apologizing for. That's not resolution, that's punishment disguised as distance. Number 4, and this one's huge, DARVO. It stands for deny, attack, reverse victim and offender. And once you learn this pattern, you will see it everywhere. Here's how it plays out. You calmly bring up something that hurt you. They deny it ever happened. Then they attack you, your tone, your timing, your character. And by the end of the conversation, somehow they're the one who's hurt, and you're apologizing to them. This term was actually coined by a psychologist studying abuse dynamics back in the 1990s, and it's held up in research ever since because it's disturbingly consistent. The whole point is to flip the story so fast that accountability never has a chance to land. Number 5, guilt tripping. This is the tactic where every disagreement somehow becomes about how much you've hurt them. You say no to something reasonable, and suddenly you're hearing about how tired they are, how nobody appreciates them, how after everything they've done for you. Notice what's missing here. There's no actual discussion of your original point. The subject just quietly shifts from the issue to their feelings, and you end up managing their emotions instead of getting an answer to what you actually asked. That shift is the tactic. Quick pause. If you're recognizing any of these from your own life, drop a comment and let me know which number hit hardest. I read every single one, and honestly, half the reason I make these videos is because of stories people share in the comments. Also, hit subscribe, because we've still got 2 more tactics coming, including the one that's honestly the hardest to spot. Number 6. Triangulation. This is when a manipulator brings a third person into a conflict that has nothing to do with them. Well, even your sister thinks you're too sensitive. Everyone at work says the same thing about you. Suddenly, you're not just dealing with one person's opinion, you're dealing with an imaginary jury. Whether that third party actually said those things almost doesn't matter. The point is to make you feel outnumbered, isolated, and less confident in pushing back. It's control, just borrowed from someone who isn't even in the room. And number 7, this is the final boss, intermittent reinforcement. This is the pattern where kindness and coldness come in unpredictable waves. One day they're warm, attentive, generous. The next day, cold, distant, dismissive. No pattern you can predict. Here's the uncomfortable truth about why this works so well. Unpredictable rewards are actually more addictive to the human brain than consistent ones. It's the exact same mechanism that makes slot machines so hard to walk away from. You're not staying because things are good. You're staying because you're chasing the next good moment, and your brain has quietly convinced you that if you just try a little harder, you'll get it back. Now look, one of these tactics on its own could just be a bad day, a stressful moment, a person who's genuinely struggling. We're all a little guilty of guilt tripping once in a while. But if you're noticing 3, 4, 5 of these patterns repeating in the same relationship, that's not a bad day. That's a pattern, and patterns don't fix themselves. Here's the secret nobody tells you about manipulation. It doesn't work because manipulators are geniuses. It works because it targets your best qualities, your empathy, your loyalty, your willingness to give people the benefit of the doubt. The fix isn't becoming cold or suspicious of everyone. The fix is simply knowing the pattern by name, because the moment you can name what's happening, it starts losing its power over you. If this video helped you make sense of something in your own life, that's genuinely why I make these. Stick around, because next time we're breaking down exactly how to respond in the moment when you catch one of these tactics happening in real time, without blowing up the relationship or losing yourself in the process. You're not going to want to miss that. Peace.